Hello.
So we are starting. I'll start you off with Zoe. Okay. Welcome to the show, ladies and gentlemen. Without further ado, I'd like to introduce you Mary Ikigu, aka and here's her story. Over to you, Mary. Please tell us who is Mary Ikigu and who's FarmGirlKE.
Hello, everyone. My name is Mary. I am an agripreneur, majoring mainly in strawberry cultivation. I also include button mushroom farming, where I chose to do organic strawberry farming because we are looking forward to having a healthy lifestyle, a healthy, we are looking forward to having a place where we can prolong our lifestyle, cut off the diseases that are affecting us, especially cancer. So that is my major reason for advocating for doing organic strawberry farming. Button mushroom farming also advocates for organic farming. So that is my major reason for engaging in organic farming.
That's nice. And who is Mary? Tell us a little bit about yourself. Are you from a generations of farmers, or are you the first one to break out? Because many of our viewers or listeners are people who
Mm,
come from a long history of farming. Others don't, but they're looking for
mhm.
inspiration. And as discussed, we would like for you to be that inspiration. So tell us a bit more about that side of you as a person.
Okay, as an individual, I grew up throughout my childhood in a farming family. My parents have been livestock farmers throughout our lives, and we also have been doing crop farming. So we kind of do mixed farming, which has really molded the person that I have come to be, the person that I have grown for strawberries and engaging in agribusiness.
Yeah, great. Sounds good. So your parents must be really proud of you having passed on the farming mantle to you.
Yeah, they're really proud of me. Although my dad has already passed, my mother is very proud of me and she helps a lot whenever I need help with, doing the farm and engaging in everything. She's very helpful.
Ah, great. I think we'll come to the part where, as most young farmers experience, you have to pull on family to help you throughout the early days of the agribusiness. So
Yeah.
that was something we'll talk about when we jump into your presentation or your talk
Hmm.
about strawberry farming. So to our viewers, when we sought out Mary Kigu, we were looking for someone who has a story worth telling. And without giving away too much of the gist, I'd like to tell you that Mary, in her humbleness, you can tell from her description of herself, has managed to start from very humble beginnings, and she's doing
Yeah.
marvelous things. And I pray
Hmm.
that she's able to, to inspire as well as inform you who's sitting on the fence and thinking of whether or not to get into farming, and what type of farming. Is it just organic? Would it be strawberry like Mary has done, or it's mushrooms or spring onions? Who knows? But in our show this evening, and depends on where you're watching this from, we have the pleasure of having Mary Ikigu, FarmGirlKE, who's going to talk to us about her farm in Limuru, Kenya, and what amazing things she's doing there. We let her focus on strawberry, but she has a lot more. So over to you, Mary.
Okay. I am a strawberry farmer, organic strawberry farmer. I have to insist of that because most of the time we find people using synthetic means to grow crops, but I concentrate more on organic strawberry farming because that is what I have. I think I am advocating for a healthy lifestyle. And strawberry farming is a business that has come to mold my financial being, my financial capacity at the moment, because I started off at a very humble beginning, like you said. It was Like, I didn't have the much capital. I could think 100,000 shillings or $100 or something of the sort. I just started with a few seedlings, which were 130 at the moment, and 100 seedlings before. And right now we have grown to approximately 500 seedlings. We are propagating seedlings, and we are also doing fruit production. And our major goal is to attain at least 5,000 seedlings so that we can be able to, supply to the local market and also be able to export to the external market globally.
Nice. So you've stated that you started off with 130 speeds. Your target is to get to up to 5,000. But what does
Yes.
it take? What does it take to start that journey? Maybe you can tell us, in an ideal situation, if somebody had the money and the land, that's an ideal situation. Or then you can put it side by side with what you started with.
The best thing or the most important thing for somebody who wants to, engage in farming, not just strawberry farming, but any kind of farming, the best thing that you can do for yourself is to, first of all, do a good research. That is what I did. Before I started my strawberry farm, I was engaging in online training, online YouTube videos, online everything, any material that could help me understand the kind of farming that I wanted to engage in. That is how you get to understand, is there a market even in the first place for whatever I'm going to grow? Because most of the time you find that we as farmers, we just get into the market because we heard somebody is doing pig farming, somebody is doing strawberry farming, somebody is doing mushroom farming, without even understanding, why am I even doing this? Just because Mary is making some money doesn't mean that if I do it, I will make some money. No, the best thing that you can do is to, first of all, do some research, understand the market, understand the requirements. So for somebody who is willing to engage in strawberry farming, the best thing that they can do, the starting point, it is the research. Once you have the research in place, then you can start doing the materials. That is when you understand the kind of materials, the piece of land that you have. With strawberries, actually, you don't need like a huge piece of land for you to start. You can even do the vertical bag farming for those people growing in the urban areas, and you're wondering, maybe I have a less than an acre piece of land. Personally, I have a less than an acre piece of land, and so far the business has been sustaining the family. Financially, I can say it has been good. So for somebody willing to start a strawberry farm, it is to identify the kind of market that you want to target in, because strawberry farming has a very huge market. You can engage in value addition. You can sell the strawberries as they are to companies adding value to the strawberries, and it is a very huge market, especially even in the local areas. Because personally, I sell to people around my area. They have been my biggest market. Families with, the way people make smoothies in the morning, the way people take juice, the way people take fruit. Those have been my market at the moment. So for people starting the strawberry farm, just do a research.
Okay, that sounds good. Maybe to the science part of it, from the
Mm-hmm,
time that I procure the seedlings or the splits from
mm-hmm,
the supplier, how much time should I
uh-huh.
expect before I am rich and running to the bank? Because that is what we youth agripreneurs always looking for, money in the bank. So a realistic
Yeah, sure.
expectation, what would it be?
Okay, when you first of all plant your strawberries, you wait for, with people doing synthetic, they wait for 75 days. But for us doing the organic side, we wait for 120 days, because we need to give the plant time to grow, because you do not need, fruit sizes that are this small. You also need quality and quantity. So for you to get that, you have to wait for at least 120 days. You be patient, you be catering for the plant, removing flowers, removing the weeds, ensuring the environment is very clean. Then after the 120 days, you are going to wait for another at least 2 weeks so that the flowers can enlarge, can grow. can mature and give you fruit. Then after that, you will be harvesting for the next 3 to 4 years, depending on how you will take care of your plant.
Sounds good, but between 75 days and 120, that's what, 40 to 50 days in between. Does the price difference between the synthetic versus the organic, is it worth it? And in terms of numbers, what is it? What are people buying synthetics at? And how much are people buying the organics at?
With synthetic strawberries, you find that people will buy the crops at least 100 shillings to 120 shillings. But when you have the organically grown strawberries, and then you explain to your customer, you identify your customers well, you are going to get to a price of maybe 120 to 150 and maybe 200 shillings, depending on who you're going to sell to. So the organic grown strawberries have higher price than the synthetic strawberries. Although most of the consumers, you will find they don't even understand whether these are synthetically grown or they are organically grown. So not unless you identify the kind of market that you're going to sell to, that is when you're going to change the narrative of the price that you're going to put your crop.
I think you've mentioned something very important there, and it ties in with the
Uh-huh.
research
Mm-hmm.
that you had indicated. So, through your research,
Mm-hmm.
not just on product, but also on market, will help one determine the right market. Because
Yes.
I believe by the time you have taken or you've gone through the pains of farming
Mm-hmm.
organically your strawberries, you should not be
Mm-hmm.
scored on the same level as synthetic strawberry farmers, right?
Yes.
Yeah, good. So the research is very important, whether it's on product or marketing. And that brings me now to my next
Mm-hmm.
question. Um, it
Mm-hmm.
sounds very good, very tasty, but what are the little challenges, that most people, maybe even yourself, you didn't see going in, um, that people should expect? Because we can buy the sweets, we can decide to go organic or synthetic, but what are some of the things that you've learned doing this practically?
Okay. The major challenge with brewing strawberry, especially organically, are the rains. When it rains, it is very challenging because first of all, the fruit production goes down. It decreases because there is increased fungal diseases. You find that there are so many early bread rates, and these fungal infections affect the fruit production. You find that you cannot produce optimally like you used to produce when there was enough sunshine, and you find that the people you are selling to, that you are not producing optimally. That is the major challenge. Additionally, with organic strawberry farming, there is this finding the right fungicides. It can be a challenge because the companies selling fungicides, organic fungicides, they are quite costly, but we manage that by growing the plants or the crops that can help us to manage the diseases.
Mind giving us an example of, I know we have discussed this in the past, but do you mind just giving some idea or clues to some of the local solutions that you use for pest control organically? Some of the local
Yeah,
things.
we use something. Yeah, the major things that we use are these bitter crops, something like lantana camara. That is a very good component that we burn the branches, we burn the bushes, but we burn the branches and the leaves. We get that ash, and then you spread it at the base of your crop. That is where you get to control worms. And then there is a very big challenge with aphids. Aphids are, you cannot spot them by just looking at the crop, observing from a distance, and you say your crops are doing well. And then little do you know that the aphids are sucking the strawberry sap from the bottom. And then by the time you are 2, 3, 4 months down the line, your strawberries start drying, and you're like, what is happening to my farm? So you have to be very careful with the aphids. Those have been the major challenge. before I didn't quite understand what was happening to my farm. And I was like, the strawberries were decreasing in size, and I was watering every day. I am putting manure every day. I mean, frequently. I am putting all the material, the water, the everything was quite well, but I couldn't understand what was happening until I spotted the aphids at the base of the plant. They are attacking the strawberries up, and I'm like, what? So the best thing that you can use to control such kind of pests are aloe vera. We mix aloe vera, we mix tithonia, we mix this kind of lantana camara. That is what we use to control the pests.
Nice. That's a
Yeah.
nice example of using local solutions to, to pursue your organic farming dream.
Yes.
So I just take you back a
Yeah.
little bit. You mentioned some
Mm-hmm.
of the challenges that you face, or
I have faith.
would be farmers would face, and
Yes.
in a way you've also alluded to some of the solutions. So in
Mm-hmm.
terms of pest control, you're talking of using organic solutions, local
Yes.
solutions, as opposed to the costly over-the-counter pest control, chemical-driven kind of solutions. But on the rains part, what can
Mm-hmm.
be done, or what are your plans as a business person? Because we talk to you as an agripreneur. You're no longer just a farmer, you are an agripreneur. So what steps are you taking
Mm-hmm.
towards mitigating some of these challenges that you're facing?
So this is where the research part comes in, because when you do the research prior to starting your agribusiness, you understand the kind of pests that you might face in your journey, the kind of challenges that you might face. So for me now, I understand that during the process, aphids can be a major challenge, which can affect the kind of crops, the crop quality, the amount of production that I am getting. So to mitigate these challenges, it is to keep adding, because we are doing this organically. The best thing that you can do not wait for the pests to come in. Like, you should not wait for you to spot that aphids. You should not wait for you to spot that ants. You should not wait for you to spot that spider mites, because spider mites are very and thrips. They are the greatest challenge, especially when you're doing your farming in the field. So instead of waiting for you to spot this pest, the best thing that you can do is to control, because these are just organic solutions that we are using. So they are not, they are not, they cannot bring any challenges to the crop. They're not going to burn your crops. Like, let's say you put some chemicals and your plant, you're worried about burning the crops, the entire field. So with organic farming, you can start controlling even before the plants get the pest, even before you see any kind of pest in your farm. You just spray, like for example, we use garlic. Garlic is very good in controlling the aphids. So that smell plus mixed with the soap solution, the kitchen dish soap solution, that is a very good essential and it is not costly, and it is affordable, readily available in our supermarket. So what you do, you mix that with garlic, and then you mix it with some aloe vera to increase the bitterness, so that the aphids will not settle in your crops, and then that way you will have overcome the challenge of the pest.
Okay, sounds good. My next question is
Mm-hmm.
along the value chain. So we've seen where you've started. You've described to us how the preparation. We can visually see you actually working in your farm, and we have images of that. Whether your crop looks very good, so good work.
Thank you.
Um,
Thank you.
but now, one of the biggest hurdles in terms of agripreneurship is the HR, the manpower. Is this
Mm-hmm.
crop, or is organic farming more labor intensive? And labor intensive things basically means higher costs. How
Mm-hmm.
how is it really expensive, and how can we go around or about managing this cost?
Okay, with strawberry organic farming, it can be costly if you do not have the materials required. Because let's say, for example, you need to increase the crop nutrients all the way, because you see it is taking at least 3 to 4 years while you're harvesting, while you're giving the crop production. So for you to maintain a good and optimum quality of your fruit, you have to increase the crop nutrients monthly. For example, personally, we do every week we add something like, yeah, nitrogen from chicken manure. We also add potassium from wood ash. So the best thing to control the amount of money that you're going to input in your farm, it is to have the materials ready. For example, you need wood ash to increase the potassium amount in your strawberries, because potassium is very good in increasing the sweetness of the fruit. So for you to acquire this without using a lot of money, it is for you to have the materials ready. For example, you have wood ash. People use charcoal. Charcoal will give you wood ash. Instead of throwing that wood ash away, you keep it. So that way you will not have to buy DAP and everything, the nutrient things for you to add to your crops. Another thing that you might experience are a decrease in the amount of nitrogen in your crops. So for you to control that, you have to have chicken manure in store, so such that when you spot that your strawberries have a nitrogen deficiency, you just add the chicken manure. For you to So the way that you control the prices or the cost of your production when you're doing these things organically, it is to have the materials that you need whenever ready, so that by the time any disease or any kind of nutrient decreases, you have the materials ready for you to input immediately. For example, something that we use to add nitrogen and potassium, zinc, magnesium, it is a crop called comfrey, Russian comfrey. With Russian